Hi everybody, I hope you're all doing really well. So today I am back to talk about 5 recommendations I have for the summer months. Now, I am not typically somebody who reads very seasonally, and I've not tended to do like seasonal recommendations, but I feel like it is a bit of a gap in my channel, and something that I'm wanting to kind of push myself out of my comfort zone and do a lot more is trying to read a little bit more seasonally, or to at least rack my brains as to any seasonal books that you might like, because I know a lot of people do enjoy reading seasonally. Because I did have my booktube break, I am a little bit late on doing this video, but you know, we are still in July. It is still very much summer. In fact, a lot of people right now are going to be going on their summer break. So here I am in like the brightest, most summery thing that I own. Like, I'm wearing yellow, who am I? And so I don't exhaust all possibilities for book recommendations for future years. I've just narrowed it down to 5 books for now. And so maybe this could be an ongoing series of 5 more recommendations for each season. You let me know how you like it. So the first recommendation, very much inspired by something I've been reading this year, is One More Croissant for the Road by Felicity Cloake. You'll be able to see my full review for this down in the description box below. But this is Felicity Cloake's part food diary, part travel memoir, documenting her time cycling through France with the intention of sampling as much French cuisine as possible from all the different cities that she was visiting. Obviously, summer months, a lot of people are traveling, or at the very least, if you aren't able to travel this year, this might give you a little taster of the travel that you're craving, or might even make you feel like maybe it's a good thing that I'm not traveling, because cycling all around France, no mean feat. For me, this was a very visceral book. I could feel like the ache in her body as she was cycling dozens of kilometers each day, but then I had the very satisfying feeling of feeling like I could taste everything that she was eating. I was only disappointed that this wasn't a whole documentary, because I just wanted to be able to see it for myself, but hopefully it would be a nice little book to kind of provoke your wanderlust. My next summer recommendation is Carrie, Soto is Back by Jenkins Reid, a book about a tennis player, obviously, because every summer is Wimbledon. I actually feel like Wimbledon is going to have finished by the time that this video goes up, but you know, details. All about a retired tennis player who ends up coming out of retirement after she finds out that her record number of titles won might be overtaken by a new young thing. As somebody who is not really into sports at all, I actually found myself really enjoying this, and this has even made me want to watch Wimbledon this year. But if you are a very outdoorsy type, if you are very much into sport, then I feel like this will tick a lot of boxes for you, as well as having a very memorable protagonist who is not always the most likable figure, but who you really get to understand and to know over the course of the book. My next summer recommendation is a romance book. And of course, when we're talking vacation and romance books, I automatically think of Emily Henry. I think every single one of her books so far has been set on vacation or a holiday. And so my favourite of the 4 that I've read from her so far is You and Me on Vacation, in which we are following Poppy and Alex, who have been friends since college. And one of their annual traditions is that through the summer, they end up going away together, typically doing things on the cheap to fulfill the desire of travel that they both have. They are polar opposites in personality. You've definitely got this grumpy sunshine pairing going on, but they are best friends. They really balance each other out and bring out the best in each other. However, we do have 2 timelines here. While we are seeing all of their different holidays in the one timeline, in the present day timeline, Poppy and Alex had previously had a big falling out, and they've been estranged for 2 years. But Poppy is realizing that there's something really missing in her life, and that thing is Alex. And so she invites him on one last vacation, coinciding with his brother's wedding, and in the hopes that they're going to be able to reconcile and become best friends again. But of course, the more that we get to read about them, the more it becomes clear that maybe the tension was sparked by the fact that Poppy and Alex clearly mean more to each other than just friends. This might be a bit of a rogue summer recommendation, but one of the first books that came to mind when I thought about this was Circe by Madeline Miller. I think it really speaks to the introvert in me that, you know, the idea of being banished to an island where I'm completely on my own actually sounds great. Madeline Miller's Greek myth retelling of Circe, daughter of a god and a sea nymph, who at the beginning of the novel realises that she has powers of sorcery, which is seen as being very threatening by the other gods. And particularly after she uses her powers for not very good ends, they end up banishing her to the island of Aiaia. But through the course of her immortal life, she ends up coming across many well-known figures in Greek mythology, most notably the mythological figure of whom she is well known as having met, Odysseus. But Madeline Miller's retelling of Circe's life is much more than the year that she spends with Odysseus. As an immortal being, obviously 1 year is really not that much to her. And it was really fantastic reading this and getting to see more insight into her character, and how when she is banished and is on her own, she's really able to thrive and flourish. Which, you know, isn't that the summer glow up that we all crave? And then my final book for this summer recommendations list is Still Life by Sarah Winman. I feel like lots of people would like to take a chunky historical fiction with them when they're going on holiday, and this could really satisfy many people. A slow-paced character-focused story around a found family, centred around, funnily enough, considering the last book I talked about, the main character of Ulysses, who at the tail end of World War II is in Italy. He comes across a man who is threatening his own life, threatening to jump off a balcony. Through the course of the evening, he talks to him, he's able to talk him down, and they spend the rest of the night talking and have a real camaraderie. After the war, Ulysses returns back to London, returns to his normal life, but a few years down the line, he gets a letter discovering that this man that he had spoken to has since died, but he has bequeathed all of his estates and all of his money to Ulysses. And Ulysses basically tells all of his friends this and invites them to come live with him in Italy. And the majority of the book is Ulysses and his little fern family building a life in Italy, meeting the locals, going on their own journeys of self-discovery. There is another subplot to this book which focuses on Evelyn, who is another character that Ulysses meets at the beginning of the book, who is an art historian. But the main thing that I tend to think of when I think of this book is the time in Italy, especially since Italy is one of the places that I would really love to go to. I have been to a couple of places back when I was about 13, 14 years old, but if I had like an entire month or two, I would just love to travel all the way around. And yeah, I think it's a really, really gorgeous story. So there we go. Those are my 5 book recommendations for summer. Do let me know any summer books that you'd particularly recommend and whether or not you've read any of these books yourself. I would love to hear from you. I hope you're having a fantastic, fantastic day, and I look forward to talking to you again soon. Thanks. Bye.